It's Christmas! And you know what that means? Santa's been. And did you know that Santa was actually a canon character in the Pokemon anime? Yeah, really weird. He had a load of jinxes. And Ash and Misty and Brock went to go see him. But it brings up another question. Considering this is Gen 1, could we beat Pokemon Blue using only gift Pokemon? Can't catch any Pokemon, only use gift Pokemon, can't exceed level 50. Let's see if we can actually do this. And this is my Christmas gift to you all. Hope you like the snow in the background as well. So, let's get on with this run. And you might be thinking, what classifies as a gift Pokemon in this game? Well, straight away we're going to pick up one of the starters because we don't actually catch that. It is given to us as a gift. Our rival for today is going to be Big Al. I think that's how you wanted me to pronounce it. You didn't actually reply to that comment, but either way. Big Al, Beagle, either way, you are the rival for today. This video's for you. Just until we get to the Tauros video. Let's get on with the run. So, let's go see if Professor Oak needs our help. We go in, and we realise our rival is going to be there. And we can pick up our very first Pokemon, which in this video we're going to go and choose Bulbasaur. Now, why Bulbasaur? Well, I've used Charmander quite a lot. Squirtle, I'm planning for another video. And yeah, we'll just go with this one. Bulbasaur is a pretty good Pokemon, and out of the three choices, I think this would be the hardest one throughout the whole game to keep as a base starter, because we are not going to be evolving any of our Pokemon. These Pokemon were a gift. And yeah, Beagle won. Merry Christmas. Oh. So yeah, none of the Pokemon that we get as gifts are going to evolve, because these were the gifts that we were going to be given, and we should not try and... Well, I'm trying to come up with some good advice there, but nah, we're just not going to evolve, and we're making the challenge hard for ourselves, and that's my Christmas gift to you guys. Once we've delivered the package, we can go and progress on with the game. So the first thing we're going to do, considering we've actually started with Bulbasaur, we can head straight to Pewter City, really. And even with just getting up to level 10 with a Bulbasaur and Leech Seed, we can actually beat Brock quite easily, but we need to get there first. First, we have to deal with the Bug Catcher. Now, we have gone up to level 10 just so we can get Leech Seed, and Leech Seed is such a great move. Honestly, when I was a kid, I remember playing with Bulbasaur on some runs, and I would get rid of Leech Seed for the likes of Vine Whip, Solar Beam, Razor and then you get into your 30s like I am right now, and you realise, you know what, Leech Seed's actually a great move to have. And especially if you're planning the team, definitely Leech Seed is a great move. It just makes Bulbasaur a lot more utilised, really, more useful, more supportive. And that's the best thing about a Venusaur. It's like a Bulbasaur line, it is a very supportive Pokemon. Going into the Brock fight, we easily take down Geodude thanks to a long, lengthy battle with Leech Seed. We just keep spamming Growl, because we don't really want to hurt the enemy, because it's just... We're just taking its energy bit by bit. It doesn't really know what's happening. We get the win, and we get the first badge very, very quickly. Probably not as quickly as a Squirtle would have been, but either way. We can move on to the next route before Mount Moon, because we can pick up our second gift Pokemon. Although this one, the guy's a little bit awkward, and he actually asks us to pay for it. So, once we talk to the guys, and we go to this one here, we can get ourselves a Magikarp. Now, you know what I've said? We are not evolving these Pokemon, so unfortunately Magikarp will stay as a Magikarp in this run. But he will have some utility. We go against the Rockets in Mount Moon, and you can see here what I mean about utility. So, once Bulbasaur's set up its Leech Seeds and used Vine Whip now at level 16 because it won't evolve anymore, we can go into the Zubat, and the Zubat actually has super effective damage against us with Leech Seed. It's actually 4 times effective in this generation, so we get taken out with 1 Leech Seed, meaning Magikarp at level 16 with Tackle now is on its own to try and take down this Zubat. But I'm actually quite glad that I do have a second Pokemon by this stage, because if not, probably I didn't want to give myself an L this early on into the video. So Magikarp clutches up, and actually Christmas Magikarp actually does alright. That brings us into the Super Nerd, and of course we're just switch training this Magikarp just to keep it up with Bulbasaur, but Bulbasaur is still the main player here. And it will be for quite a while at the moment, because we don't actually get another gift Pokemon till all the way in Celadon City. And that's quite a ways away. This is actually quite a lengthy part of the game. Once we take down this Grimer, we're just trying to get our HP back as we go through this. We can Leech Seed the Voltorb, and then start setting up Screeches, which is not good for us. So we need to start taking it down. Big tackles, some growls to reduce its attack. But the Screech does 2 times defense drops, whereas Growl only lowers attack by 1. So yeah. Brings us into the coffin, and of course Leech Seed again. This is why I like the Leech Seed strategies. It is very lengthy, but it does make a difference. Leech Seed is such a good move. Like, I'm pretty sure it recovers it takes off 1/16 of their health every single turn, and then recovers it to you, so it's a great move. After a lot of back and forth, we finally take down the coffin with just Bulbasaur alone. And we pick up our Lord Helix fossil, we'll come back to that later. And then we progress on to Cerulean City. And now, we've actually got a good team to deal with Misty, really. If Bulbasaur falls, the Magikarp's not going to take any water type attacks because her AI won't allow it to attack with water type moves. So, from there, as long as we can get a Leech Seed up on Starmie, pretty much the fight is going to be ours at some point. We get a critical hit with Vine Whip, and we get Starmie all the way down low HP before Bulbasaur falls, bringing in Magikarp for the last couple tackles, and Leech Seed to give us the win. See what I mean? It's actually a great team to take on Misty with, even without evolutions. But that leaves us with another problem, and that's going to be the rival. Now the rival, Beagle here, has got a team that really does good well against us here. Bulbasaur is not good against flying types, we can't deal that much damage, so we have to rely on Leech Seed a lot to keep in this fight. We need to use Growl to get their attack down, and the most annoying thing, of course, Sand Attack. I love it when I use it, I hate it when it's used against me, and Bulbasaur does fall. There's absolutely no way Magikarp will be able to take out 4 of these 4 Pokemon while it's at level 19, and especially while Leech Seed is not in play against any of the others. So, I decide to reset. Let's give this another go and do a better strategy for Pidgeotto. So level 20, we actually learn Poison Powder, which is a great move to have at this point in the game, because Leech Seed Poison Powder just takes them out twice as fast. Once we've got them both set up, and Sand Attacks have been hitting the Bulbasaur a lot, we can switch into Magikarp just to do some chip damage, while Leech Seed and Poison Powder do its work. Doesn't matter whether we hit here or not, it's going to just keep into the fight until Pidgeotto falls. That brings us into the Abra, and I could stay in for the free fight, but you know what, we'll switch back into Abra, and then we'll get some HP back. Now, reason why I like Abra being in this battle, because it only knows Teleport, and it's basically a free battle. It's like, if you got Leech Seed, it's a bit of like a mid-fight buffer, where you can get your HP back early game. This is why it's good to use a Bulbasaur here. It's very lengthy, but it does feel alright doing this strategy. That brings into the Rattata, who's probably going to pull out a big Hyper Fang, but it misses. So 2 Vine Whips come in, and then it's Charmander versus Bulbasaur. But you know what? Once we've set up the Leech Seeds, I might as well tackle a little bit until it decides to Ember us. But Beagle doesn't decide to use Ember this time. Did you forget you had a Charmander there, mate? Anyway, we've beaten the rival, and that means we can progress onto the SSM, where we're going to pick up my favourite move of all time in Gen 1, and that is Body Slam. Because yeah, Bulbasaur can learn Body Slam, and you know I'm going to be taking that move every day of the week. Once we beat down this Nidoran trainer, very, very easy fight, we can pick up Body Slam, and we've got an incredible move on our roster here. Body Slam, 80 base power, 100% accuracy, and the chance to paralyze? Yes please, every day of the week, that's my present to me. I hope you are all having a very good Christmas, by the way. I am currently a Bucks Fizz bottle deep already, with a couple of wines in us, so you know what? This is how I do Christmas. Lots of alcohol very early on. Anyway, let's see how we do against the rival on the SSN. And you know what? Bulbasaur is just the best person for this one, and actually no, it falls. Great. You might see we have a Sandshrew there, that is just used as my HM slave. It will not be used in battle, as per pretty much all of my videos, you need a HM slave. So, with both our 2 main Pokemon down, and we're at level 24, we are at the level cap right now, which is kind of scary. we are going to just reset and go for another attempt. Body Slam is the best move here at level 24, and it can just sweep through all of his team. So we don't even go for the stalling strats, we just go hell for leather here. Might as well. And last up was Charmeleon. As long as we can get a Body Slam and the paralysis off. Oh, Ember Beagle's learning actually started using Fire-type moves against a Grass-type Pokemon. That means Magikarp can come in and we are just headbutting this Charmeleon, or at least splashing, tackling it, whatever we have to do to be able to take down this Charmeleon. And there were plenty of opportunities to have lost that, but Magikarp clutched up, we get the cut TM, and we can move on to Surge, where you can know for a fact we are not going to be putting Magikarp out. We're not going to put Magikarp against any of the Pokemon that can use electric moves. That would be suicide. So yeah, you know what? We are just going to go straight in for this. And if Magikarp can at least take out the Voltorb, well, it can't in this circumstance, then at least it's done all it needed to be for Bulbasaur to come in. Next up is the Pikachu, and it's got terrible defenses, so Body Slam is taking it straight away down. Thunderbolt is up next against Bulbasaur, and as long as we can just keep using Body Slam, we're fine. Surge goes down first time, and we can increase that level cap to level 29. Quite happy with that. That brings us to the Rapinlass on the east of Cerulean. Yeah, the east. Northeast, southwest. Yeah, definitely east. She's not a problem for a Bulbasaur because, well, for one, she's not going to try and use many of her grass moves because they're not very super effective against us. When it gets through to the final Spell Sprout, I decide to move my moves around a little bit. We take her down, and then we can move on to Rock Tunnel. But of course, we also have this Bug Trainer here, who is also mandatory, and he's not a problem whatsoever. We can bring in Magikarp, get a little bit more experience, because Bulbasaur's actually getting quite close to the next level cap, and we've got Rock Tunnel to contend with. With him being our main player, we really need to keep him kind of low level, so we do need to do quite a bit of switch training to make sure Magikarp can take a bit of the slack. And it's quite annoying that we've been poisoned here. It probably means we can't take out another Pokemon with the Venonat incoming, but it's done its job. Once it falls, actually we really should have switched, and it would be less experience for Bulbasaur here. Either way, Bulbasaur can come in, take it down, and go up to level 27, where we can learn Razor Leaf, which is a much better move than Vine Whip. High critical hit chance, decent power. Yeah, I quite like Razor Leaf over Vine Whip. So that brings us to Rock Tunnel, and then the Exploding Hiker. We are going to go straight into this and switch train Magikarp to keep the experience low. We need to get all the way to Erica before level 29. And as soon as we take down one Pokemon, we switch back into Magikarp. That means the experience is shared quite equally between them, and it's a low amount of experience than going against a single Pokemon. And you know, of course, if they use Self-Destruct on Magikarp, that's not a problem whatsoever. It's not really that much of a problem, so we took full experience from that, but either way, we can progress on to Lavender Town. And we've only got... I decided to go against this trainer here just because she gives less experience. I am very conscious of the fact we are nearly at level 30 here. We're already at level 28, and we still have Erica to go against. We've still got maybe one more mandatory trainer we need to go against as well, and yeah, we've just hit level 29. We really need to... Oh, we get put to sleep. We really need to get our next Pokemon to give us something else to work with and not go up to level 30 with Bulbasaur, because if we go to level 30 with Bulbasaur, we're going to be kind of screwed. So, yeah. Let's see how we do when we get into Celadon. If you go through this patch of grass, honestly, it cuts out so much time. And from down here, you can also pick up the Elixir, which is about halfway across. You've literally just got to mash A at every step to try and find it, because I can never remember how far along it is. It's about halfway, but considering you can't see the end of it, you don't know where halfway is. Anyway, now we are in Celadon. We're going to go and pick up our third Pokemon. And it's right at the top of this building, and everyone knows which Pokemon this is going to be. It's a very, very famous Gift Eevee. And you know, of course, that we are going to give it a little Santa hat there. That brings us to the Rocket Corner, and of course we are going to go and do a bit of gambling, because it's Christmas, and you know what? Why not? Why not? It's a little present to the kid here. Now, I'm only going to show you a little bit of this voice just because I preferred it when it was slots. I don't like the Voltorb flip. I think it's just not for me. But I'm a different generation to a lot of the younger kids coming up, and I also have had gambling addictions. So yeah, I kind of do understand why they have done this. Anyway, let's go on to the Erica fight, and from here we're just going to go straight in with our Eevee and sand attack this Victory Bell. That's all Eevee needs to really do before it falls, and even it manages to tank a Razor Leaf before poison takes hold. That brings us into the Victory Bell and our Bulbasaur, and from here, this is why we've kept Body Slam so long. We just take it down after all the sand attacks, and it's Bulbasaur versus Erica, really. Magikarp has got no place in this fight. Razor Leaf's doing around about the same as Body Slam. It's going to take just a couple more hits to take it down, and then we just have Vileplume to contend with. Now, it's probably going to be about a 5-hit KO, and thankfully, because of our typing, none of Vileplume's attacks really do anything against us. We take the badge, we take the TM, and we move on to the next challenge, which of course is going to be Giovanni. But I thought for Giovanni, let's leave him for a sec and let's go and get our 4th Pokemon, because in Saffron City we can go and get one of the Dojo Master's Pokemon. Now, which of the two do you think it's going to be before it actually happens? So Magikarp cannot stand up to it whatsoever, and it was at this point I realised, actually, yeah, this is a strong trainer. He's level 37, we're going in level 30. This might not work in our favour. Rolling Kick does big damage. We finally take it down with Body Slam, and we've got 2 Pokemon to work with when it comes to... Oh, Bulbasaur goes down to a Fire Punch. Can Eevee do this on its own? We use a couple of Sand attacks, but Comet Punch does massive damage, and we actually take a loss here. So we need to try this again with a different strategy. Magikarp is out first, of course, because we just want to get a couple tackles in before it goes down. Magikarp is kind of losing all of its worth right now. It just can't do very much at keeping up at the level cap in this game. Anyway, Bulbasaur is still holding its own, being the absolute chad that it is. We're going to try and use Razor Leaf because Hitmonchan has a terrible special stat. And then finally we get the win, meaning we can pick up our 4th Pokemon. And which one of the two is it going to be? It is going to be Hitmonlee. Out of the two is easily the better Hitmon, and since it's Christmas, I'm not giving myself the harder fight with this one. We've already got Magikarp on the team. Give me a break. That brings us to Giovanni in the Rocket Corner, and of course Bulbasaur is just sweeping through his team. Kangaskhan is out last, and we give our Hitmonlee a chance to shine. 1 double kick takes it down, and we learn Rolling Kick already. This is going pretty well now. The early game was definitely a lot harder in this attempt, but the mid game, it's alright. I don't mind the mid game so far. That brings us to the rival in Lavender Tower, which we missed because we need to keep our level down. We start off with Eevee going in with the sand attacks, and from there we'll switch into Hitmonlee. Because Pidgeotto doesn't actually have a flying type move until Wing Attack, we can just set up our Meditates, annoyingly get hit by 1 sand attack, but then Double Kick will just pretty much one-shot most of his team. Or at least 2-shot because it's Double Kick, and at least I only use 1 PP for it. Kadabra does get a bit of damage on us, but it's still nowhere near enough. Charmeleon comes out and then goes straight down again. Very easy fight, but we are quite over-leveled for it. But this is why we like Meditate Hitmonlee. It's a beast of a Pokemon. This foursome of Pokemon is actually doing pretty good now. Bulbasaur is still holding its own even into this mid-game. Eevee has got utility on it. Hitmonlee is probably our biggest powerhouse right now. And Magikarp's there. He's just there. He's hanging out. He's cheering on his best buddies. But he can't do much more than that. It's not a... I was going to say some cheesy Christmas line there. No. Magikarp's just here with his mates. He's having a good time. That's all it is. We beat Lavender Tower, we pick up the Poker Flute, and from there, we've got to decide where we want to go next. So, there's 2 routes we can go. We can either go over to Saffron and complete Silph Co, or we can go over to Fuchsia and beat Koga. I decided to go for Silph Co because, you know what, In here we actually can get another gift Pokemon, but it becomes after a major fight. So let's go get our TMs first on floor 10. We want to go get Earthquake. And from there we will go and fight the rival on floor 3. Eevee is out first and we're going to try and get the sand attacks off. And annoyingly, we get down to 13 HP. Then Pidgeot decides to just use Whirlwind until a big wing attack comes out. But Eevee's done his work. We can set up the Meditates. And annoyingly, we do get hit by a couple of wing attacks, so we didn't get the full sand attack set up. We get down to 20 HP, Badge Boost is in full effect, and now we can start Mega Punching our way through this entire fight. Yes, Hitmonlee, the kicking Pokemon, can learn Mega Punch. We learned this on the Hitmonlee run, but from here it just sweeps through all the way to Alakazam, and that's unfortunate because Bulbasaur cannot outspeed Alakazam, and it can't. Yeah. That did not go to plan. But I think it's the right strategy. Let's try this again. We start off with a barrage of sand attacks, and it starts working more in our favour now. Eevee gets down to 12 HP again, but this time we get our full sand attacks set up. From here, we can actually switch over to Hitmonlee, who does take a wing attack upon coming in. That is so unfortunate. So I decided to go into Bulbasaur. And from here, we will use the Leech Seed strats to get some HP back. Because Hitmonlee needs its HP to make this work. From here, we can set up the Meditate. And after getting 6 of them set up, our attack is through the roof. We could start punching our way through. Or, you know, kicking our way. Because that is what we do best. And that is why we lost the last one. Because we were punching, not kicking. That's my excuse. Anyway. Jump Kick is a pretty damn good move, and it nearly takes out Gyarados in one. Probably would have been better going for Double Kick, and that brings into Alakazam. Can we outspeed a level 38? No, we can't. And Hitmonlee goes down. We are back into this again. This time, though, Alakazam goes for Disable 3 times in a row, giving us a chance to get sand attacks up on Eevee. This is what I mean by Eevee clutches up a hell of a lot. Jubbles, you'll be very proud of this Eevee here. From here, Eevee goes ballistic. It starts going for massive wing attacks. Sorry, quick attacks before falling to the Charizard, and that gives Magikarp a good chance to come in. And then, oh no, it's set up Rage. It's set up Rage. Oh, so this is where Leech Seed strats come in. From here, all we need to do is just wait out the clock. We don't want to increase its attack by actually hitting it. So what we need to do is just use Splash. Yes, Splash, of all moves, became useful. Splash became useful in this fight. We managed. Oh my word. I actually can't believe that Splash became useful in this fight. Gave Bulbasaur enough to work with to get enough body slams in to get the win. Merry Christmas. Splash actually became useful. Stalling tactics for the win. My word, this is a weird video for me. Doesn't help that I'm a little bit half cut. Anyway, let's see how we do here. Body Slam, we've picked up our Lapras as the 5th gift Pokemon, and this Lapras, once we've trained it up a bit for Giovanni, is just unbelievable. This thing in itself could probably one-shot the game on minimum battles. It did so well on the Ice Mono run earlier this month, which, incidentally by the way, my Ice Mono run, to this point, this video's just came out, it's become the 2nd most watched video on my channel. I don't know what it is about that video you guys loved, but please tell me what it was so I can do more like that. Because that video I was not expecting to get anywhere near as much views as it did. Anyway, we beat Giovanni, we pick up TM29, and we progress on to Sabrina. Sabrina is not going to be a problem with Lapras on our team, but Hitmonlee might have to stay to the side here. Lapras, as long as we can get body slams off, we'll be good. We'll be Gucci here. Even Mr. Mime tries to set up its screens, it's not enough to try and get past this Lapras. We set up Confuse Ray so it hits itself, and then body slam it into the ground. Next up was Venomoth, who was going to be weak to Psychic. Yes, I didn't realise that Lapras actually learned Psychic until I did that Ice Mono video, because I've not actually done the solo run with Lapras yet. It's This is really, it's a stacked Pokemon. It's as stacked as Starmie is. It's an Ice type on top of that, so it gets stab bonus on Ice Beam. Yeah, this is a crazy Pokemon. We try and get the Alakazam to sleep, but it does not work. So then we have to bring in Eevee again, who is going to go crazy for the sand attacks. It can tank one Psybeam, and that is all it needs to work with. One sand attack gets set up all the way to 6. And now this Alakazam has got nothing to work with until Psywave hits us, but that's enough. All the sand attacks are set up. And Meditate can be set up now. So once we've set up a couple of Meditates, try to get all 6. Psywave is the only thing that is hitting right now, and we can use Double Kick to get ourselves the win. And Hitmonlee, level 39, beats a level 43 Alakazam. And that brings us to 5 badges in total. So what do we do next? We go straight over to Koga, and from here we can go and get our 6th badge. This is not going to be a problem whatsoever with Lapras having Psychic. Pretty much Lapras goes crazy and one-shots pretty much everything. Apart from the Muck. Muck is actually kind of bulky. And of course it sets up Minimize, so poison damage starts taking a hold. We Psychic the Coffin, giving a one-shot, and Weezing's out last, and again Psychic does big damage, but because we've got a team of 5 and only one's been taken out, we can legitimately take a win here against Koga thanks to that self-destruct. From here I actually decide to go and think, you know what, Magikarp, you've done your best, but right now you are just contributing nothing to this team. You are still our buddy, but we need some better team members. So getting the old Amber and the Helix fossil, we are going to go and get 2 new team members. Magikarp will unfortunately go to the bench and probably will not be seen again. So from here, we get our Omanyte, our Christmas Lord Helix, and that just boosts this team so much. And then we go and give him the old Amber, and we can pick up our Aerodactyl. Yeah, who'd have thought I'd be using this team at the start of the video. Anyway, with our new team and Magikarp cheering from the bench, we can then go into the 7th gym badge with Blaine. Omanyte on its own, Lord Helix is just tears through this entire fight with Silph. Like, there's nearly 3 Pokemon down taken out with just 1 Silph each. Rapidash had to go down to 2, and Arcanine will go down to another 2. Fire Blast doesn't even take out half our HP, and there we go. Omanyte alone takes out Blaine, and it's not even at the level cap. We are not even close to that level cap right now. We're at level 40. That brings us to the final gym leader, which of course is Giovanni. And Bulbasaur is the best the best Pokemon to be using here, really. Razor Leaf is super effective against 3 out of his 5 Pokemon. It does decent damage against the Nidoqueen and the Nidoking. After a couple of Razor Leafs and a couple of Body Slams, Nidoqueen will go down, but we are getting quite low on HP now. Nidoking comes out, and you know what, we are going to switch for a little bit here. So, do we switch into Lapras, or do we switch into Hitmonlee? You know what, actually, I switch into Aerodactyl to give it some screen time. We set up our agilities, and then from there, we Hyper Beam the Nidoking down. At this level, though, it is not a one-shot, so normally we do have to use 1 bite to take it down, and then we come into the Rhydon, where we can actually teach it Fire Blast and try and get the burn. Can all 5 Fire Blasts take out this Rhydon at 10 levels below? Even though our special stat is not the greatest, it can when we get a burn. That is the 8th gym badge, and our Christmas team is now progressing on to the Elite Four. And before the Elite Four, of course, there is always the next rival fight, and this one is a tough one. So let's see how we do. Beagle sends out his Pidgeot, and I go in with pretty much the wrong Pokemon starting off. Bulbasaur sets up a Leech Seed at least, and then we switch into Omanyte, who resists every single one of Pidgeot's moves. So all it does is use Agility because the AI realises that Psychic type moves would do neutral damage. So that's all it'll use. Once we've set up all our withdrawals, Omanyte uses Blizzard to great effect, and we can finally learn Sleep Powder for our Bulbasaur. And I actually make a risky decision here. I get rid of Razor Leaf for Sleep Powder. Sleep Powder is just insane, so why wouldn't we not want it on our moveset? Execute gets taken down by a big Blizzard, and then the Gyarados comes out. Now, if we can get a freeze here, which would have been nice, but Omanyte does get taken down by a massive Hydro Pump, and Bulbasaur gets taken down again, that brings us into Lapras, who does have Thunderbolt. Yes, Lapras can learn Thunderbolt and Psychic. This Pokemon is stacked for moves, I told you that. Next up is the Alakazam, who does take it out, and that brings us into Eevee. Now, Eevee again goes mental on an Alakazam. It gets a Sand Attack out, giving it enough to work with for Aerodactyl to come in and nearly die to a Psychic. It goes down to Psybeam. Yeah, this one's going to be a loss. There's no way the Hitmonlee can take this out. Really? No way Hitmonlee managed to... But I've only got fighting type moves to work with, and Charizard goes for a big slash. Yeah, this one's a loss. Let's try this again. We were so unlucky in that fight. Anyway, let's start this off. And again, we are starting off with Bulbasaur to get the Leech Seed off, because Pidgeot will actually use agility instead of wing attack sometimes. Again, we can go into Omanyte and set up our withdraws, because this is a good badge boost glitching strategy. And from here, once we've set up all 6, Blizzard will do massive damage. We've still got Horn Attack, even though I can't see where the Horn is on Omanyte. Where is the Horn, guys? And that brings us on to the next Pokemon. So Sleep Powder again will get replaced for Razor Leaf. And from there we can move on to Rhyhorn. One Blizzard takes it down, and again with the Execute, one Blizzard will take that down. Gyarados is out next, and a big Hydro Pump again. Well, last time it must have been a crit because I've got Badge Boost set up, so it's not doing anywhere near as much. Omanyte managed to take it down, and a big Blizzard comes in and freezes the Alakazam before Omanyte can be taken down. That is a clutch. Lord Helix, thank you. That is ridiculous. We take down the Alakazam with Horn Attack, and that brings us into the Charizard, which does eventually take us down, but we've got a full team to work with here. So I decided to go into Eevee. Now Eevee has got Sand Attack, Double Edge, Bite, and Toxic. Sand Attack Toxic Eevee is a great Pokemon on a team in these runs, and you've seen it on quite a lot of my runs by now. It's a great little strategy to use. And Eevee on its own, at level 40, takes down that Charizard. All of our Pokemon try to evolve, but no, they're perfect as they are. They were gifts as when they first came to us. That brings us to the Pokemon League, and of course that brings out Lorelei first. So we're gonna try go into this with Omanyte, because if we're going with Omanyte, that Dugong is not going to use any other one of its moves. Horn Attack doesn't do much, so we're going to try for the Surfs, and it's not doing all too much. If we can get a crit, that would be perfect, but I don't feel like this is the right Pokemon to do this with. We'll keep trying though. Yeah, with Rest it's not going to be that well. So we'll switch into our Lapras, and now it's asleep, we can use Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt's doing a lot more damage, and because we're still a Water type, they won't use Water type moves on us. Brings us into Cloyster, who is more annoying than anything really. Spike Cannon is just annoying. Supersonic makes us hit ourselves, but we managed to power through and get the Thunderbolt off. Slowbro's out next, and I am going to switch into Bulbasaur, because with Slowbro having a Psychic type move, that's all he will use. So what we can do, we can get it to sleep, we can Leech Seed it, chip away at it, and then we can switch it back into Lapras, where it can get a lot more HP back. Now that it's asleep, we can just try and get some HP back on the Slowbro, because again, with us being a Water type, wow, Water actually did a lot of damage there. Can we get the Freeze instead? We can't get the Freeze so far, but he's not doing anything but growls. There goes the Freeze. And we can get it back as much HP as possible, because she decides to use a Retroactive Super Potion. And Lapras is already back at full HP, thanks to Lorelei just being an idiot. That brings us into the Jinx, and we're going to switch into... Should we go into Eevee? Should we go into... Hitmonlee would be the best one, really, even though... Oh no, it's a Psychic type. But it doesn't have Psychic type moves, but Ice Punch still does massive damage. That did not go well. Okay, Omanyte, you're back in. So we're going to go for the Surfs, because it'll do decent damage. But Thrash... Oh, thank God she put herself into Thrash. mean we can get another Surf in before we go down. That means she's locked into Thrash unless now she'll be confused. And from here we can get a Fire Blast off to get the win. Lapras is out next, and we are going to go for the Hyper Beam because we know that a Blizzard... Wow, we managed to get 2 Hyper Beams off before Hydro Pump or Blizzard hit. This is turning out quite well. For a Lorelei fight, this is turning out quite well considering how underleveled our team are. And it's Lapras v Lapras, but ours have got Thunderbolt, meaning we get the win. First time, well, yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Let's see how we do against Bruno. Now, we do have a lot of type advantages against Bruno. But we're going to start off with Eevee and Sand Attack. If they can't hit us, the Toxic's just going to take hold of it anyway. So once we've got all the Sand Attacks set up, we will Toxic. And then from there, we're just going to let it do its work. We're not going to try and hit it because it is into Rage, and if we do take more and more damage, that does not put us in a good position. But I finally give up, and from there, the Poison finally takes its hold. That brings us into Hitmonchan, and from here, as long as we can get a Toxic off, which we can't. Eevee's done his work though, it's taken out at least one Pokemon, we got 1 for 1. Now we try and get the Sleep Powder up on the Hitmonchan, and he sets up 2 X defends, which is not a good sign really. So we're going to go for the special attacks. Razor Leaf does tons of damage with a crit, and Bulbasaur clutches up in this fight. Hitmonlee's out next, and again Bruno goes for X defends, giving us a chance to get some good hits in and get a Sleep Powder off. And Bulbasaur at level 41 does incredibly well in this fight. All of these Pokemon are 15 levels plus on it. This is... Bulbasaur should not be this good against Bruno, but as we know, Bruno is an awful trainer. We do get taken down by a Fissure because we don't outspeed the Machamp. It is 16 levels above us, so yeah, I'm not surprised by that. Next up, we throw in Lord Helix. And again, a Fissure takes us out. This is actually starting to look quite bad. So let's go into Fighting Pokemon v Fighting Pokemon. Submission one-shots us. He's not going to beat us now, is he? No, because Aerodactyl comes in with a big Hyper Beam, and we get the win. That was a bit dicey. I was not expecting Bruno to actually land some Fissures there. That brings us into the Agatha fight, and of course... it's Lapras v Gengar. I'm actually hoping that Lapras can one-shot this entire fight, but we are 15 levels below her lead Pokemon, and we've got 16 health left to work with. So yeah, Lapras falls. So which Pokemon is going to come in and actually get the win here? So we're going to set up the Agilities with Aerodactyl because now our moves will do much more, and then I realise he uses his, so we get 2 Agilities up again, 3 Agilities up before he then confuses us, but a big Hyper Beam comes in, but we have to recharge. His is an annoying move, really. I don't know if we're going to be able to do it on this attempt. If we at least take down this Golbat, I'll be kind of happy. His, again, just resets everything, it's kind of annoying. That brings us into Haunter, and I'm just going to try and go for Fly, but Nightshade hits first. That brings us into Bulbasaur, and from here, as long as we can try and get Sleep Powder off, we should be okay. But we've had ourselves in confusion 3 times, and then Bulbasaur falls, so this is not a great position at all. Now, if Omnite falls, then this attempt is pretty much done, because we won't be able to hit Haunter, we won't be able to hit Gengar with any of the moves that Eevee or Hitmonlee have got. So... we can use Eevee to try and take down the Arbok, and it does alright. It gets all the way down, and it's paralysed before Agatha starts using Retroactive Super Potions again. These Retroactive Potions are just doing my head in now. Eevee eventually falls, and that brings us into Hitmonlee, and again we get glared. This Arbok is really being annoying. And Hitmonlee falls, Omnite is out. We've got nothing left to lose, we have to go for it. Omnite can tank an Acid. At level 43, we are then brought into the Haunter. Can we do this with just Omnite? We're on 4 HP. I don't think we're going to be able to do this. Can we get a crit? No, we get confused. And we take ourselves out. That sounds about right. Let's try this again. We can do this at this level, I'm very sure of it. So, this time, luck goes in our favour a lot more. She switches into Golbat, giving us a free Sleep Powder to get in. We set up Leech Seed as well, and from here we can try and set up the withdraws with our Omanyte because Silphs are going to be doing a lot of damage on it. She switches back into Gengar and we go for the Blizzard. Can we get the freeze? We can't on the first one. Can we get on the second? Nope, we get put to sleep. And then we've run out of Blizzard usage. We're going to use in Surf, and we can't even take out the first Gengar before our first Pokemon falls. So we need to switch back into Bulbasaur, who gets the big Razor Leaf off and does very pitiful damage. We put it to sleep, we Leech Seed it, and then put it back to sleep because it woke up. And from there, we've just got to hope that Razor Leaf can do its damage. We hit ourselves in confusion because of course we do, this is an Agatha fight. And this just goes back and forth so much because of the amount of super potions she throws at us. It's ridiculous, this. Like, I thought she only had like 3 or 4 super potions, but I'm pretty sure I've seen her use about 8. Anyway. We take down that first Gengar and it is 1 for 1 right now. We switch into Eevee, trying to get the sand attacks off. Because from there, Supersonic should not hit whatsoever. We can then use... How does it hit through all of those sand attacks? You are kidding me. Anyway, moves into Haunter and Big Nightshade does 55 damage on us. We get put to sleep. Our Pokemon are looking good right now. We are losing, we are not dealing out enough damage. So we start to decide now's the time to bring in Lapras. We get confused, we get Psychics, it's just... They really hate this Lapras. From here we can switch back into Bulbasaur, we can get the Sleep Powder off, and hopefully get some HP back from Leech Seed. We're going to go for the Razor Leafs just to do a little bit of chip damage while this Pokemon is asleep. And I missed the first 2. We've not even, like... My luck in this fight is just not very good. We Sleep Powder the Arbok coming in, and then Leech Seed again. And crazy enough, we managed to actually get back up to half health with Bulbasaur. That brings us back into Lapras, and of course we're going to go for the Psychics here against the Poison types. And it stays asleep, giving us enough to work with there. Golbat then comes back in. Yes, this is it has not actually felt yet. It's the 5th Pokemon in a party. Sorry, the 4th in a party. And then finally we're on to the final Gengar. Annoyingly, we get hit in confusion and we get hit by Nightshades quite a lot here. But Lapras manages to clutch up and at least do half damage before we can go back into Bulbasaur and get a Sleep Powder off. Can we get our last? No, we can't. Oh my god. Come on, Aerodactyl, it's all on you. Can we actually do this? She sets up a Toxic. It's a race against time now. We get the burn on Gengar, meaning we can actually deal enough damage out to get the win. Aerodactyl clutched up, and Agatha... Absolute Scrooge Agatha. That brings us to the Dragon-type trainer, which of course is Lance, or as I like to call him, the Flying-type master, because he uses more Flying types than he does Dragons. Starting off, he's got a Gyarados, and we're going to set up Sleep Powders on the Gyarados with our Bulbasaur, because it can actually tank a hit from a Water-type move. And from there, we'll just try and do as much chip damage while Leech Seed does its work. We need to try and keep it asleep. I'm kind of anticipating it was going to wake up, so I just decided to go for Sleep Powders. And from there, Bulbasaur clutches up to get ourselves a win against the Gyarados. It gets a critical hit, Leech Seed does its damage. And from there, we go into the Dragonite, which of course is only going to go for Psychic-type moves. So Leech Seed, again, perfect Pokemon to be using against Lance. Pretty much if you want to beat Lance, take Poison types. Because of his Dragons having Psychic-type moves, all they will do is use them Psychic-type moves if you've got a Poison type on the field. Which is why this fight is very easy for a Zubat to win. Yeah, of all Pokemon, it's very easy for a Zubat to solo this fight. If it can get past the Gyarados and the Aerodactyl, they're the only 2 main threats that I ever class on this team. And this is why I like the Poison type in Gen 1, because the AI is stupid. Bulbasaur clutches up, and man, he uses a Hyper Potion of all things. We've actually resorted to using Cut because we're running out of PP for all of our other moves, and we just know that eventually it's going to take it down. That then brings in the Aerodactyl, and if we can get a Sleep Powder off before it falls, that is perfect. And This might be a good time to switch, but we'll just see how much damage Razor Leaf does. It's doing about a quarter every hit, but Takedown finally takes down Bulbasaur. That brings us into using Omanyte, who cleans up the fight with a Surf, and then next up is going to be Dragonite, meaning we can bring in our Eevee. We can use a couple of Sand attacks or a Toxic. Now, we should have really got a Toxic up. Either way, we can at least do a little bit of damage with Hitmonlee before he gets taken down, and that's when I realised that, you know what, Hitmonlee is actually the perfect Pokemon for this Dragonite as well. Because it's Fighting type and Psychic is super effective against Psychic types. So even with all those barriers set up, our moves, and we got 6 Meditates set up here, by the way, and all those barriers are just stopping it. So it's just going to be a little bit of a long drawn out fight, but we are going to win this because of the AI. Oh my word, he uses another Hyper Potion. My god, that is annoying. Oh, right. Strength all the way. We are going to the champion. And that's it. Our gift Pokemon, our Christmas gift Pokemon, have got all the way to the champion, and we have not breached level 50. We used the last of our rare candies, and we will see whether we can do this before level 50. We're at level 45 now, and we're going to start off with Aerodactyl against Pidgeot. Reason why? Pidgeot likes to use Sky Attack. So from here, as long as we can... I debated just tanking one Sky Attack because we are Rock type and we can tank normal and Flying type moves quite well. We've got all of our agility set up before the Alakazam comes in, so we're going to go for the big Hyper Beam and take it out in one. That is the whole reason we wanted agility set up at the start. Next up is the Rhydon. We're going to at least try and use all of our Fire Blasts before Aerodactyl gets taken down. We're going to use Hyper Beams as well and just take down the Rhydon. If you don't have a move that's super effective against Rhydon, you know it's actually kind of difficult to go against. And Aerodactyl sweeps through half of the team before even getting close to getting taken down by Exeggutor. It goes to sleep, Stomp takes it out, and we've got 5 Pokemon to work with against his 3. We got our Sleep Powder off against Exeggutor and then switch straight into Hitmonlee. If we can set up our Meditates here, we should be pretty good for the rest of the fight. It manages to wake up after about 3 Meditates, but that's enough that we need. Strength takes it down, and Gyarados is out next. Strength's doing just under half damage, and Big Hydro Pump will take it down. Bulbasaur is out next, and Hyper Beam is a one-shot. That's not a good scenario to be in. So we decided to bring in Lapras to get the 4 times effective Thunderbolts off, and then that brings into the Charizard. Now, the big problem here, we didn't outspeed the Charizard. We managed to get 1 Surf off before Fire Spin takes hold and just chips away at us. And we can't do anything while Fire Spins go up. Fire Blast takes us down. So I decided, you know, Eevee, you've done so much, but no, it just can't outspeed it. So Fire Blast takes it down, and we are down to 1 Pokemon. It's 1v1. We just need 1 Surf to hit. He misses his Fire Blast, and Lord Helix delivers on Christmas Day. Oh my word. That was a lot more difficult than people probably realise, but we are trying to do this under level 50 as well. And we've done it. We've delivered a Christmas miracle, we have completed this challenge, and I hope you guys are having a great day with your families, with your friends, just generally having a good day. And if not, feel free to drop me a message in the comments. I will chat to you all day if you are not feeling the greatest today. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give me a like and subscribe, it is Christmas after all. And we will see you tomorrow for another video, which, you know, it's going to be a little bit of a change. Take care, you guys. You're absolute legends.